today with Gigi Edgley from Farscape. Oh my God! You're here. All right, now Gigi got her start. Gigi, you're not wearing your Farscape outfit today, or your wig. What's good?
It's all under.
You don't dress like that every day?
I've got my human makeup on.
Trying to fool us, dressed like a human today. I see. Okay, now tell us about your family and the circus, how you got started. Oh my gosh!
I need you guys following me around wherever I go. Just this entourage when I pick out the right milk from the grocery store.
Yes,
we're diet milk.
We're the creepiest show around. Thank you.
All my family are carnies. I've grown up with the circus my whole life.
Wow.
Grew up around monkeys and elephants and trapezes and fire twirling and ringmasters and all the crazy carnies. Yeah, my dad's dad was the first Australian to bring Russians into Australia's small-time entrepreneur, and then grew and grew and grew.
Wow.
And it was right around the time, like it was the Bolshoi Ballet, Baryshnikov, Nureyev, lots of other different shows as well. And then also bought the Moscow Circus, and he would go and hand pick acts in Russia and make up the circus and then travel it all around the world. And then Dad stepped into his footsteps, and then he became one of the biggest promoters in Australia, and also bought out Kiss and bought out theatre shows and bought out Cirque du Soleil. He was the first entrepreneur to bring out Cirque du Soleil, but now yeah, it was pretty cool. So my whole life I've grown up on the side of the wings, watching the ballerinas warm up, and there's a crazy photo Mum put on my Facebook page, and it's me meeting Marcel Marceau, and I remember the moment I was looking. I remember he stunk. I was like, who's this stinky man? And now that I grow older and I like vodka, I know what that smell was.
I see.
And it was sweat and alcohol. And but as a kid, I was like 4 or something. And in the photo, he's like holding a flower, like in the typical Marcel Marceau move. And I'm like, I'm doing this, and then someone else is shoving a cookie in on the side to try and make me smile, and I'm like, So yeah, grew up around showbiz, so I guess it's been in my system ever since I was a wee babe.
Wow. So now tell me about this Farscape audition. Now you got to the audition, there's all these surfer girls there, all these LA chicks, and they're like, oh, I'm so hot, I'm so beautiful, just give it to me because like I look great, and and like I want this, and then you get there,
and I'm a freak,
and you're like
you're
all punk rocked out, and you're like, I'm this punky alien, I'm gonna kick some butt, I'm gonna get this show.
Yeah, that's exactly
right.
What I was like, take that.
We were there.
It was actually in Australia because we shot it in Australia, and I walked in, and there was about the auditions are a lot smaller scale in Australia than what they are here, and it's I looked at them, and they're beautiful girls, very well kept, very together, and I was a rat bag already, and I had my spiked blue hair and eyebrow piercings, nose piercings, I had my headphones in, and I'm like, hi, I'm Gigi, hi, I'm Gigi, hi, I'm Gigi, like this, and they're all like, ooh, and it was an incredibly nerve-wracking experience. And then I went in there and I spoke to he was actually a producer, one of the producers and directors, and I said, look, I know she's an alien, and I know she's totally, she's a minx, and she's sexy, and she's manipulative, and how do you want to see that she's an alien? And he just went, I just want to see if you can act. And I was like, okay, oh crap. So, and it went well, and then as the test went on, then I realised, because they hadn't shown it in Australia, so I had no idea of the looks and the prosthetics and all the creatures and everything, but I knew it was a Henson's, and I am the biggest fan of the Henson Company from Dark Crystal days. I was obsessed by that movie. I would watch it almost on a daily occurrence. And now I have these weird moments where I'm just driving along and I have these random thoughts, and I go, isn't that bizarre that when I was a little girl, totally obsessed with Dark Crystal, that I had not, and now I'm living in the world of Henson. Thank you.
Wow, that's awesome.
So it's pretty cool.
Did they let you do what you wanted with the character as far as the look and everything? That was your own creation, or they told you, okay, you're going to have your hair like this? Or?
Oh, all that stuff was them. All the look and everything was all them. The costumes, everything. And then when we went through the first makeup test, it was about 5 hours, and I looked at the creature looking back at me and just went, oh, you're totally cool. Sort of play with things, and I just went, because it was a new environment, so I'm very sort of method based. Anything that I can draw on that's on the set, and those sets were so cool.
Yeah,
like
they were
the
cool.
props and the sets and the creatures so anything that I could add to the character from what was just hanging around on set was great. And because she was meant to be the odd man out, and she was meant to be the rebel, and she was meant to really screw with people, and people couldn't figure out, I just was like, all right, it's game on.
Okay, now I want to know the best, funniest, or dirtiest story you have on set.
I don't know.
Oh, yes. You know, Michael Trucco from Battlestar Galactica, he told me a dirty story on set.
Oh, well, it's pretty dirty. It is pretty dirty.
Let's hear it! Yeah!
So, once upon a time, and probably definitely my most embarrassing moment on set to date, but I'm sure there'll be more. Okay. But there's a scene where, I don't know how well you know Farscape, but she was just constantly. That was, I guess, one of her magical powers, if you could call it that. Just a bit of a minx, and so I had a sex scene with an alien, as you do. hard day at the office, and went through makeup, and they had to paint me from the head, chest, and all the way down. And then the nurse comes in, and she goes, "Here you go, why don't you pop these on?" And they were like little flower band-aids. and I said, "What's that for?" And they said, "You have to cover your nipples." And I'm like, that's ridiculous. Why? We're just going to have like all grey and these flower nipples, like embarrassing. And I grew up on a hippie commune. We were naked all the time. Wasn't a big deal. The body's the body. We'd all got the bits and pieces, and it made it even more embarrassing that you are kind of highlighting things. And so anyway, I said no. I feel really uncomfortable about that. Just paint me all up. I'll go on. Like, and most of the crew are like family by this stage. You know, we were a few years in, and they said no. Legally, you have to have something covering just the nipples. And I went, oh my gosh.
Well, in Australia they can show that, but in America, I don't. You know, they're not allowed to show it on
But you
TV.
can have a gun, so that's fine.
Yeah.
So anyway, sure enough, went in there, and we're acting through the rehearsal, and usually Chiana was quite full-breasted, and I'm not that. It's all smoke and mirrors. So they went, look, it's not going to match up with the character. Usually everything's lifted and pumped and goodness knows what. So they said, okay, let's tape them together. So at least you got a bit of oomph. It's like, oh, this is getting better. So anyway, so instead of having, we just had a bit of a band-aid smushing them together, and then they coloured it in this big ridiculous cleavage. So it's embarrassing enough doing a sex scene with a random alien, and let alone being painted with a big band-aid with your boobs strapped together. Anyway, so off we went and got a bit hot and feisty. And because you get a bit sweaty, I looked down halfway through the scene, and I looked down at the critter, the alien, and I'm like, what's that on his tentacle? I'm like, oh! And it was the bit of band-aid, and it flung off and was sticking to his like tentacle, and so I just had this nude strip. So that's probably about the most
Now, anything happen on the set with any of the actors that you think that was
I like these
was funny, or do you hate any of the actors? Who do you really hate on the show? You're like, you know what? I'm not working on it anymore. I really hate him. I never want to see him again.
I don't know. I tell you, Rigel.
You know.
Who did I hate?
Or a Muppet that got on your nerves.
Oh, definitely. Well, my character was meant to kind of have a bit of a competitive thing with Rige, and it was weird because when we actually went and shot the creature shot challenge, they pulled Rigel out of the box for an episode, and I burst into tears. It was like seeing a long lost brother, because he was all limp and he was all like faded, and he was a bit like mouldy, and I went, oh.